So part of this barrio education is a TIAHUI. TIAHUI, essentially, the pedagogy and praxis is this larger piece that's really talking about teaching critical consciousness, that interconnectedness through student-centered learning, providing agency through critical praxis, that historical literacy development, unity through community and intersectional identity development. TIAHUI is that, and trying to implement all that in order to develop a curriculum that's a Nauhi Ollin. And that curriculum is about self-reflection, the will to act, providing that knowledge and that transformation and everything. And I have a lot of articles about that. I won't get into much detail over it. Again, I might do another workshop just on that alone, if not invite a friend of mine who will probably speak a lot better than I about this and everything. But this is, when we talk about this, let's think about this as organizers, as community educators. We can utilize these things that, no, we don't have a classroom, but we are meeting virtually for sure. But if we are meeting in person, whether it's in a park or in the library, at the cafe, wherever we're at, let's really think about how are we teaching critical consciousness to our members? How are we teaching critical consciousness to the public? How are we connecting? What's that interconnectedness between the community member-centered learning at this point? What's the agency? What kind of historical literacy development are we providing? And how are we building that unity through community, as well as that intersectional development as well? So we need to be thinking about these things through our own political education programs when we're talking about these kind of things. And then really start talking about that self-reflection piece, and then that will to act, and that providing that knowledge and transformation. So again, when we talk about this model, it's really trying to converge where people are at and then in the institutions that are out there, and in those institutions that developed a certain narrative, and how are we advancing those counter narratives that have been excluded, that not just in this case Mexican American the experience, but what's that intersectionality when it comes to race, ethnicity, sexuality, gender, so forth and so forth. So how are we doing that as organizers and activists through political education in that way? If we go to the next slide.